O'Brien.
Good afternoon, folks. I'm Tommy O'Brien, company live from TFNN, and we kick things off. We got a little bit of selling on Thursday. S&P's right now negative by 1% on the dot. Now remember, tomorrow we get CPI data tomorrow morning, 8:30, following a hot jobs number on Wednesday. And on that CPI, prior to that CPI, we got markets in the red. And how about yields, though? Yields dropping dramatically. You talk about a reversal. Okay, we now got higher price, low yield with the 10-year at 4.1%. So much for a jobs market that was not going to allow this Fed to cut or rates to go lower. We got rates lower, 4.1% right now on the 10-year. S&P's off 1.6%. We get some of the biggest equities out there trading low. You get the Dow right now, minus 364, off 0.7%, and the Russell off by 1.6%. Crypto, Bitcoin, 66,000 right now, off 2.4%. Crude trading lower, off $1.62 at 62.91. And we jump to metals. Gold off 2.6%. As I mentioned at the top of the hour there, $200 from high to low. 5,100 to 4,900, and you did it in about 45 minutes. Those are 5-minute bars. Yeah, 35 minutes, right? 40 minutes, man. And we're just chopping around near the low portion of that. Now you take a look at the volume in these metals markets. And yeah, we're getting an uptick today. You know, we were talking about the last 3 days. Just record light volume. And then boom, the balloon pops a bit on a short-term basis. And listen, I think the dollar's under pressure, okay? And we're not moving lower today with lower yield. But I think the dollar's under pressure. I think the dollar's on its way to 90. It can't find a bid right now. That's going to help the metals markets. But be careful right now, man, because that volume in the last 3 days, vapor thin volume. On the gold contract, you're talking about 118,000, 101,000, and 125,000. And today we're already at 148, and even at 148, we were doing 200 to 250,000 on a constant basis in gold. We're at 148 today. Silver, same thing, last 3 days. 60,000 contracts, 51,000, and 65. Now today you have a little bit of an uptick. We're at 80,000. But you can see how often we've been doing 100, 144, 100, 131, 136. Even on this dramatic pullback, only 80,000 right now. You jump over to platinum, off by 5.3%, off $114. Not as pronounced when you talk about the volume, but still pretty light volume in the last couple of days. And we go to copper. I was talking about copper, looking almost the strongest when you look at the volume, the spike we got yesterday. Copper off by 3%, off 18 pennies right now. All right, we jump around. So Cisco, how about this move, man? Cisco, worst day since 2022 is the headline, down 12.2%. And no matter what you look at, right, you're going to take back the action since basically November. On a daily basis, yeah, let's check it out and go back 5 years. It's been a straight shot since April. Yeah, and just like that, pretty remarkable. You can trade up, and within a day, we give it back in a day, off 12.2% on their numbers, Cisco. And let's jump around to the heat map here. So S&P 500, yeah, we got a lot of red, but check it out, right? It's growth stocks, technology, software, okay? All of the above. Apple off by 5%. Meta 2.5% in the red. Broadcom negative by 3%. Micron hanging on to the green by 1.3%. All right, healthcare stocks in the green. Lilly up by 4%, but how about Walmart? Right, Walmart trades to a new all-time high today. And you are just about to complete a 1-to-1 A to B, C to D. Remarkable. You're talking about near about 135. That's your weekly volume on Walmart. And yeah, you're probably not going to get above what we did last week. 147 million shares last week, and you're only at 90 right now. And we're coming into Friday trading tomorrow. But boy, Walmart, a rush to safety as you get a rotation in this market right now. Jump over to the healthcare stocks trading higher. Lilly up by 4%. Put it back to a daily. All right, we're just in the consolidation right here on Lilly. Jump over to Novo. We were talking about them this morning. Novo Nordisk up by 0.5% right now. All right, let's talk a little bit of AI. So Anthropic They closed a $30 billion funding round. That's not the valuation of the company. That's how much money they just took in at a $380 billion post-money valuation. You talk about it, man. Second biggest private financing round on record following, you guessed it, OpenAI raising $40 billion last year. Was led by Coatue, and Singapore Sovereign Wealth Fund, in addition to funding from Microsoft and NVIDIA. Now, you know what's wild here? Now, they just ran a Super Bowl ad. That's think about it. Think how little that Super Bowl ad costs compared to the amount of money that they're spending on the build out of AI. Now, not every time I see this, but when you see these types of numbers, okay? Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF, okay? Not Sam Altman. I'm talking about the FTX disaster, and I'm digressing here, but man. So, if you recall, he put $500 million into Anthropic. Okay, one of his investments. Now, he put money into everything because he was taking investor funds to a certain degree, okay? So, that being said, one of the things he did was put $500 million into Anthropic for an 8% stake. An 8% stake, which would now be worth $30 billion. And he had a number of other investments that have played out just magnificently. The problem being, he was running a scheme where he was taking client money, and he couldn't hold it up long enough before people found out. In 2022, the year it exploded, the stake in Anthropic, right, was sold, receiving $1.4 billion. That stake's worth $30 billion right now. Isn't that remarkable, man? Oh, $500 million for 8% of Anthropic. He makes that investment, but he had too much going on, and yeah, to say the least, right? But man, just nonetheless, they're finding the money to raise $30 billion. Sovereign wealth funds, Microsoft, NVIDIA in there as well. NVIDIA today down about 1% off $1.93. Gold off 2.7%. Silver off about 9.4%. Markets in the red. We're coming back, folks.